Hi, today I want to go over Atlas here. So for Archon shards, I am just going to be using 2 yellow casting speed shards. If you want to forge these, you can. And then for these 3 shard slots, I actually recommend running 3 purple equilibrium shards. Because as you will see, this build already gets around 12 to 14 million red crits with this build. So those melee purple shards are not needed. But yeah, onto the actual build here. So this build, basically survivability is going to be health tanking, using his 1600 armor here, 1100 armor from fiber, another 1000 armor from circumvent, as well as the 10,000 overguard. Then we get an extra 1200 health for 1850 health with blessing, and that 90% damage reduction from adaptation brings us up to about 250, or just under, I believe it's like 246,000 EHP, when everything is maxed out. Obviously, not everything's going to always be maxed out, so I would say expect maybe around 100,000 EHP. But again, with that arcane circumvent and basically constantly just having 10,000 overguard, you'll be fine. The reason I say constantly is this build is actually very much based on rolling. We are also using arcane careen on our melee. Not on our landslide, but on our other melee. Besides that, we are just going for basically max range, good strength, neutral duration, and then Rebel here. Basically, once we get over 1400 Rebel, landslide will cost no energy and do 2 times damage, have twice as much range. And that is the reason also why I said that those equilibrium shards are not really needed. Because they are very nice at first when you are, just kind of relying on nourish and arcane stretch here for your energy economy, but once you get this up, this no longer costs energy, and you just have to have enough energy to recast your 2 and 3 every once in a while, and then, rumblers if you want rumblers. But for the most part, I kind of just use these and then forget to cast these for most of the mission. But yeah, if you don't want to use, if you are using equilibrium shards and don't want to run stretch or arcane stretch here, you can run normal stretch and then run, whatever normal aura that you want. As for the landslide here, we're going to be using, like I mentioned before, melee influence, as we want electric for arcane stretch to trigger, just sort of a very generic melee influence build. Because we're actually going to we're using Tazcorn Doriga, so this is going to be giving us a lot of base damage, so if you really want to, you can put reach here to get a little bit more reach, but I find this is just more consistent and just bleeding everything. Primary, secondary do not matter, however, for the Praetos here, we want the movement speed, and then also we want melee careen, as this is not only going to freeze enemies, well, not only, but it's going to freeze enemies. I do not believe you get the 2.5 times melee damage on other melee weapons, but you do get that freeze, as well as run all the Tennokai mods. You do not actually need to run Tennokai mods on this thing, because you do not have Tennokai on Atlas. So mainly just make sure you're running melee careen. But the reason why we are running melee careen is because if you don't know, for cold, I just go over to this thing here. Cold increases critical damage by 10% for the first stack, 5% per stack, and then doubled when frozen. So basically 10% on the 20% on the first stack, and then 10% on the other 9 stacks. So it gives you roughly like 100% extra critical damage. So because you're going to be constantly rolling through things with that, that's giving us 100% extra. This gives us 100% extra critical damage. This is giving us a bunch of extra damage because of our Doriga and Tazakor. Nourish is giving us a 4.25 times damage multiplier from 10 stacks viral. And then the armor strip from Careen at a full armor strip basically acts as another 10 times damage multiplier, and these are all separate. So as I said, this does very good damage. And actually, I am going to start doing, instead of in Simulacrum, doing real missions, because somebody asked for me to do it in real missions, so. Here we go. One thing to note is for the landslide to start just sort of one-tapping things, it needs to get to around 4 times combo for Weeping Wounds and Blood Rush to get to the point where they can do stuff.
And you may yet avoid it. Trust in your training.
Watch out. I'm detecting void fissures nearby. Do you have a matching relic? A fissure. Defend yourself and
there we
use
go.
reactant to open relics.
So as you'll see here, at first a little bit rough because we kind of just need to get our
Stand by for
stuff
life
built
support.
up, get our initial energy.
They're dropping reactant.
But once we do,
Use it to crack open a relic.
there
The
we go.
reactant is working on your relic.
First batch of enemies, and they're dead. And basically now we should be good for the rest of the mission. Just a little rough at first there. Yeah, basically this is the build. Just roll through enemies. Here's your landslide. If you want to have more duration on your stacks, you can run primary and secondary dexterity on your primary and secondary. I'm building up rubble here, but yeah. Basically, careen and circumvent sort of being out at the same time makes for some really good synergy in rolling.
If you have a necromech, this would be an excellent place to deploy it.
Oh, Indiana Jones.
You have collected enough reactant to open your relic.
Well, yeah, that's basically it. Just rolling around, smelling things, trying to get up to get my thing active here so that you can see the 1400 rubble. However, that's going to take a bit. Oh, actually, 1000. Let's see. There we go. There we go. So now we're at 1400 rubble, so we're doing 2 times damage with landslide, and it is no longer taking fat. And there we go. That's a 50 million or 49 million red crit. So as you can see, purple shards are very much not needed. That was a 59 million orange crit, so that could have gone higher with a red crit. But yeah, very much purple shards not needed. So if you are going to put shards in those 3 slots, I do recommend equilibrium shards just to help. One thing to note is I am actually, whatchamacallit, right now corrupted currently, so I am doing a bit more damage than I should. So let's wait for the corruption to end here. Okay, here we go. Now here's going to be more. We cast that. Still 40 million even without corrupted. So as you can see, corrupted was getting me those insane. I think I saw a couple up to like 100 million, but you can still hit 40 million without corrupted with this. So yeah. One thing is for acolytes, you can just use lance on them if you want. But it is always just easier just to bring some sort of like Latum or Flex or something just to insta-kill them. It's up to you if you want to hit them a couple times with this. That'll work as well. But yeah. That is basically it. Thank you for watching.